Hello.
Oh, oh,
Hi, everyone.
welcome back.
Welcome back to the Parent Cafe podcast. Today we are Sarah and Allie. That's changed. We're talking about controversial topics, and it's making me nervous.
Is it making you nervous?
No, I actually have something. Well, once we get into this certain topic, I'm gonna look like a little bit of a hypocrite, but it's okay. I'll own it. I'll own it.
I'm excited to find out.
Yeah.
What
It's like sitting right here next to me. I think
do
it's one of the topics. It goes off some of them.
okay.
Yeah.
Honest, like everything, well, not everything on this list, but a lot of it, I was a hypocrite before. Like once you have a kid, it all changes anyways. So
Yeah.
you're
For most of them I can't say. I don't really for a lot of them I'm I know where my preferences are, but I definitely don't know how I'm going to deal with them once I'm in that situation, right?
yeah,
So it's kind of like but a lot of them I guess they're ways that I'm used to seeing other people do, or maybe the way that I grew up kind of thing.
yeah.
So yeah. Let's just get into it.
Let's just talk.
So there's
Go.
there's quite a bit, obviously.
Yeah,
There's lots of controversial topics, and it can go on and on and on. And we did share on our Instagram a few of the more controversial topics that have been recorded. And then you listeners have shared some with us as well.
good.
Um,
Yeah.
oh yeah, yes. So I kind of screenshotted these out of order because that's how I roll. So,
Throw it at me.
all right. You wrote them. Did you write them in order?
I did, but
Okay.
that's
Do you
okay.
want to? No. Let's
You
go.
want to
Let's
start?
read. Yeah, you read it, and then I'll find the poll.
All right. Okay. So age old topic, obviously number one, breast versus bottle.
Oh, yes.
But I don't even know if this is like a controversial topic anymore. Like, I don't know. Like, do people maybe this is just in my mind. It's like if the baby's eating
Yeah.
and like is best. Like,
I always hear breast is best. However, um,
did you freeze?
I'm having a moment. No, I always hear breast is best, but I have to say, for myself personally, I don't know. But I also know that my family, the women in my family, they haven't produced milk
Mm,
really in abundance. So
yeah.
my mom breastfed what she could, and then we were on formula almost right away. I'd say around 2-3 months we were on formula,
Yeah.
um if not sooner. And then yeah, same for her mom didn't have lots of breast milk, and I think that it was just kind of a thing, so there was just alternatives that babies were fed.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I don't have anything against formula feeding. I think breast is great if you have it.
Right. If you can do it, and like honestly to me it's like it's definitely more cost effective if you can,
Mhm.
but it's so like it's very painful to start out, and I know like for my mom that was like she didn't breastfeed, it was just too painful. And
Yeah, that's also, yeah,
I,
true. Yeah. I guess a lot of women too, they use breastfeeding as a way to calm their baby too.
mhm,
So it's breast is also, it's feeding, but it's also I like a calming, what a soother would be, I guess,
yeah,
for people who don't breastfeed.
yeah,
Uh,
I would
but
baby
yeah,
soup.
yeah, I remember having a soother. So, but definitely I know I've heard many opinions from friends even where you can't give formula too soon. Some people think it's dangerous. And then it's like, you can really give it from day one if you needed to.
Yeah.
It's just, you have to make sure it's like mixed very well, or you have to make sure you're using the right kinds or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But,
And
yeah.
or like dietary things and stuff like that. But that's the same as like breastfeeding. So like I've known women who've had to change their diets because like their baby is like lactose intolerant or allergic to something, so they can't eat that anymore. So that's the formula. You still have to pay attention to all of those things, like, oh, they can't have this kind of formula or this one. So it's honestly a struggle no matter what you do.
I almost like just thinking about it when now that you say that, I'm kind of like, I almost think I'd rather formula feed because then I can eat whatever I want too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm like,
to watch.
Right? Because isn't it like cabbage? You're like avoiding things that are going to make the baby gassy. You're avoiding spices. You're avoiding like certain food for sure. You're avoiding alcohol still. And like there's all these things where then it's like, if you want to just like party right away, formula.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, yeah, because it was like pregnancy extended, right? Because if like you're not, I breastfed till it was a year, which like, I don't know, I probably could have done it sooner, but anyways, we'll get that. But
that's coming.
That's coming. Yeah, it was like I couldn't drink for that amount of time too, which like I didn't really care because I was like, I'm over that. But it is like a lifestyle change too, right? So if you're ready for that change, you can, I don't know. And if you're like, no, I'd rather have one beer and I don't have to worry about it. See, I don't think I knew about the spicy one, so Abby likes spicy things. So did that help?
Poor baby. I don't know. I think like from what I've heard, it's like things that are going to irritate their bowels and like their tummies, and like there's just certain things they can't handle. So there's like this massive list that they put out there that like a mom should avoid. But like that's the same list that you could probably say to me that I shouldn't have been eating, or I still shouldn't be eating like 50% of the things I'm eating. So
yeah,
it's the same list.
I think it depends on the person too, right? Like, you know, your body, and like, if like you're not tolerating that, then it's fine. Same with your baby when you're watching them. Like, if they're not tolerating it, obviously you're going to make a change. But if nothing's like, if everything's fine, like then the spicy food is probably okay.
Yeah. And so for listeners, 68% chose breast over bottle. So bottle.
Yeah, and I think we should have added in doesn't matter. Because I think like, and like I just like, so I went through and I kind of picked one too, just because I wanted to see. Honestly, the answers beforehand. I snuck. But I picked breast just because that's what I did.
But you, like everybody, I mean, you may say that you're fine with either, but like you have to have, there's always something that you're weighed a little heavier on.
Yeah, I guess like, yeah, that's true. Like what you would prefer to do with your child. Okay, I see it
like
that way.
I, for one, chose breast because I know there's other benefits.
Yeah.
But then when we bring up the other argument, I kind of go a little bit more on the bottle side where it's like formula sooner than I think most people would. So, but again, that's something that I think I just have from like knowing my family and people close to me and stuff. So
is that you're not going to be stressed out if like breastfeeding doesn't work.
If I can't, exactly. Yeah.
Because that is a huge thing too. Like a lot of women, like they can't breastfeed, or like there's kids with like tongue ties or lip ties. And it's like, it's a struggle. And I've seen so in that like fight with it for like months and stuff. And it's hard.
And ultimately you just want to get that baby fed.
Yeah, exactly. In the end, if they're fed, you're good.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you did it. Yeah. But okay, so then off that one, is there one similar next on the list?
No, it's like way different. So we can go to one That's
Okay.
kind and to start weaning.
Or the extended breastfeeding was like, how do you feel about extended breastfeeding? So in my opinion, so there's you would either answer like there's a limit or do it as long as you want.
Okay.
Because there's extremes there. There's people who decide and choose to breastfeed until their child is walking, talking, and able to approach them, lift their shirt up, and continue feeding. And
Yeah.
then there's people who decide like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months.
I'm done.
Decide on a month, I'm done. They're eating solids now. Now I stop or whatever. We have 64% who agree that there's a limit, but we didn't really specify like when. 36% do it as long as I want. So yeah, like that one's tough too because it's all personal preference, but like that's where my like controversial thing comes in, because to me I find like the longer you go, and like go easy on me guys, but like the longer you go, it's less about the baby and a little bit more about mom. So because the needs have already been met for baby.
Yeah.
So that's where like to me, if you look at breastfeeding as like the need and like what it's supposed to be doing for the baby, the need's been met. So if you're going too long, it's a little bit more like mom's purpose, mom's
kind of have that attachment still.
The attachment, the like
provider.
You know, it's the thing that like makes the kid calm down instantly. So you have that like meaning. Like, this is where I bow out.
No, I totally get that. And I think like in our country, like kids' needs are getting met, like nutrition wise, a lot sooner. You have the like opportunity to get like them food and like stuff like that. But if you're in like a circumstance where maybe you can't provide that food and nutrition well enough, then yes, do that extended breastfeeding. They are getting those nutrients in a way that they can. And same with like in like foreign countries and stuff where they can't maybe get like proteins and all of that stuff and vitamins. I totally see why, like, especially in other countries they do it. But here, like, if you are able to get them like those vitamins through like just proper nutrition, then it's hard to, it is, I see where you come from, where it's kind of more about the mom at that point. Yeah.
Without saying too much.
Yeah.
Like
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You watch Game of Thrones, Kate, and do you remember, I don't remember, he's like a prince or a king, gonna be a king in one of the faraway
blonde kid.
No, he's like, he's really bad. Anyways, he like, there's a scene where he's like breastfeeding off of his mother and he's like 10, something like that, and that's where that's too much, and that's about the mom.
But is that okay? Yeah, weird. But like also the time that they're like based in for that show, could that also just be like they don't, but they're kings, they have access to food?
Yeah, this one was like a weird motherly,
more
like,
weird. Okay.
Like a weird connection there. Like it was very strange. If you watch Thrones, you got to tell me his name. I can't remember it. If
I don't remember that, but we'll have to check that.
Oh, watch that. It's like the one where like they have like a big hole in their floor and they throw people down that.
Okay, I think I remember that actually.
I can't remember where or what his name.
Yeah.
Got brown hair.
Can't remember. But I remember, I just can't remember who, like what his name is or anything like that. So 10 is your cutoff.
For sure. For me personally, it was like 1. I'm like, okay, I'll breastfeed Abby till she's 1. And even at that point, she was eating solid foods and everything like that. And I think I should have probably weaned her sooner than I actually did, because I was being selfish, I think. Because she was honestly, she was showing like she was eating all her food and like stuff like that. And I just was like, oh, I'm going to do it till a year. And then her birthday is at Christmas. And I'm like, I don't want to wean like through Christmas and the holidays. That, but like she wasn't like fighting it, but she like wasn't as interested, I guess. So like for me, I think I was definitely being like selfish a little bit for But
But was she so disinterested that you were like, nope, we're doing this?
oh no.
Okay. Okay.
No. No, she wasn't at all. Like she was doing it, but like she didn't need it as much. She was drinking milk. Like I put her onto like cow's milk because she was going to like childcare. So she had some milk a little earlier than a year and blah blah blah. And she was
Yeah.
all her food, like meat and like all of the stuff she's supposed to do. And I was just like, for me, it was like more convenient to like not have to. And then when I honestly, when I like weaned her, it was like the thing ever because she was like, yeah, I'm fine with that, whatever. So I'm like, it'd be like such a big headache. And yeah, I don't know. I think it like people get worked up about things, and I know I always did, like about those and times and stuff, and like that they're gonna be worse than they actually are. And man, some of them are so easy, and you're like, oh, why didn't I do that before?
Well, it's actually funny. Like, so for this one, it kind of goes hand in hand, right? So you're like, so like, when do you start weaning? But
Yeah.
the answer is like sooner the better. Was 20%, and then keep on breastfeeding was 80%. So more people would breastfeed longer, or like if you were breastfeeding.
Yeah.
But then like when you go back about extended breastfeeding, 64% said there's a limit. So I'm curious to know where everyone lies in like, I wonder if the year is the magic number for most people that are like maybe expressing what you're saying. Like you kind of pushed it a little bit. That
Yeah.
could be the magic number.
But I think too, like I think they say I God, it's been a while now, but I think they say it's a year you should breastfeed though. If you are doing that.
Really?
If like cow's milk and stuff.
Oh, I read 3 months is like
That over to health services though? Because that's where a lot of people like would learn here. True.
um, let me look it up.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think because I feel like you're not supposed to like even give cow's
For
milk.
6 months.
Yeah.
The recommendation is to exclusively for the first 6.
Exclusively. Yeah.
And then continue up to 2 years and beyond.
Mm.
That's AHS.
Okay.
That's a little extreme for me. I'm not going to lie. Like,
I can't breastfeeding Abby right now. She'd slap me in the face.
she not even a full set of teeth.
Oh, she did like when she was not a full set, but she did have some teeth. And really, I was lucky and maybe got bit like one time.
Hey, like, no.
On that note.
There was also just a quick one, baby-led weaning versus traditional. Can you explain the difference?
So traditional would be like purees, starting out with purees, and they get kind of like chunkier as you go. I the timelines, like they say, like you start at like 6 months and it's very like puree. It's almost like milk, almost, right? Like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of people add like milk to it, and then you like kind of work your way up to like bigger and bigger chunks.
Okay.
Where baby-led weaning is almost like the opposite, where you're like giving them like a whole thing of broccoli, like steamed and soft, and they can like hold it in their hand. So it's usually like the rule would be finger, like finger size, so like length and size, so they can chew it and hold it, and then they kind of work their way down to smaller pieces.
Oh.
Yeah, and then like purees and stuff. I wouldn't really say purees in that, but like yogurts and all that kind of like softer textures in that.
That baby-led, like just more for choking?
Like if they're prone to choking?
Like, is that what they say though? Is like it helps to teach them
not to choke. So really what I learned was that like that they know how to chew, right? Like it's like a natural thing, right? So they're not really gonna choke. It's more like a scary, like a lot of us
scared. Yeah.
So like, okay, so we did both. We started out with purees, and it honestly like was the biggest headache. And I could like She was not interested. She was very independent. She wanted to do it herself no matter what I tried. She was so I'm like, okay, I learned about this baby led weaning. Let's try that. And she like eats everything, like would eat everything. Right. So I'm like, well, worked for us. So, but like other things obviously don't like work. Like, that might not work for someone. Purees might, obviously.
I guess, yeah. And I guess a person could just try both at the same time.
Yep.
Like you could be giving some puree and then having like a piece of broccoli.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people do that. And like, I find now really like Abby's not a fan of like, she does eat yogurts and stuff now, but it did take her a while to like enjoy those things as more so, I think. But she eats broccoli like it's nothing. She loves meat. Like I gave her steak at like 6 months old. Like those kind of things. And she just gnaws on it, right? But it's not, if you are afraid of choking, you to learn the signs of it,
right?
More, because if they're, I think if they're red and like coughing and stuff, they're okay. But if then obviously like they can't breathe. But if they can still breathe and like don't alert them. So you like gently tap on their back and help them. You can do the little swish with your finger if you have to, but more than like get it out. But honestly, like Abby choked on water more than she choked on food.
Oh wow.
Like just like gagging on it, like coughing and stuff. It's just like, I don't know.
But water goes down the wrong hole all the time.
Right? Like, so she was really good, and I was lucky, but like some people have circumstances where like, but you just got to pay attention and you're sitting there with them. Same with purees, like you're gonna be there no matter what. You're not handing them a steak and walking away to do the dishes, ignoring them, right? You're still sitting there.
A steak and a steak knife and some Caesar salad.
Yeah. Some barbecue sauce on the side.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that one is coming out a lot more now. Like, my mom, I know, I don't think she ever heard about it, knew about it. She was very interested, but she's also like, she's gonna choke. Like, you gotta that's smaller, and that's a lot. But she came around pretty fast when she saw she was like eating, and so I see a lot more people doing it now because it's kind of more like mainstream and stuff.
I think you're right to say that it's a lot of like our fear behind like not doing it. But our poll, 72% voted for baby led.
Oh,
high number. Yeah.
What? Honestly, like when I took Abby in for like her immunizations and stuff like that, like in all her nurse checkups, doctor, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's the way to go. Like, so they were
okay.
Yeah. So they're like, oh yeah, that's great. I'm sure it depends on what nurse and doctor you have, but if it's good for your baby, then look for those signs you were talking about too, like being able to pick up. And so like you really have to like research it. You can't just like hand them a steak.
Okay, hold on. Let me just write that down.
Don't hand them steak. But do your research and kind of know like all the signs of choking, how to cut properly, how to cook the food properly. Like it, to me, it wasn't that. It's a little bit more extra work because you're actually like cooking them food. But like I would boil like 2 pieces of broccoli.
Yeah,
and like
I'm sure. But I'm sure out of the stuff that you're cooking for yourself, you can like pick out a few things and like not season them the way that you would for yourself.
Honestly, I other than salt, like I didn't add a lot of salt, but for the most part, I would season it like the same.
Oh, okay.
Salt is the only thing you really have to watch, and obviously the sugar. That they're not getting too much like sugary stuff and salty stuff, but I think that's everything. So, but they get their taste of what they like and what they don't. But with all food, it's just like giving it to them and giving them the opportunity to try it, even if they might pick it up that day. But the next day they might pick it up and like lick it, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, this one's kind of a different one. So where you talked about like all like the feeding and all that stuff. So like, more of a fun one. Is it fun? It's controversial. I know. Ear piercing in babies and toddlers.
I knew you were gonna do that.
It's on my list.
Okay.
Do you want me to go first or you?
You go.
I think, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
for Abby, what I plan to do is let her choose when to do it, just because I want her to have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I remember like getting my ears pierced, that fear, that excitement, like all of that kind of thing, backing out, like, no, I'm gonna do it.
I know.
Not taking care of them, the pain and learning how to take care of
Mm-hmm.
them. That I think to me is like super important. Like, just like how to be, I don't know, if you're just giving it to them, they don't know how to take care of things like that. And I don't
You're
know.
taking care of it.
Yeah, you're taking care of it, which is like, that's also the plus of having it when they're young. Yes, too, is that you can take care of it, clean it. But to me, if you don't know if they want it or not
Mm-hmm.
in the long run.
I'm right there with you. Like, I think it kind of crosses the same line for me as like any um like modification you're making to like a body, period. So like piercing ears, yes, they're small, and like to us it's kind of like get it over with now. So the opposite of what you say, like then they won't feel that fear and pain and whatever, but like they are still in pain, they're babies, like they feel it, they may not remember the pain, you know, because when they get older they don't remember like before 2, and they're not like, oh my god, I remember when you pierced my ears at 3 months old and it
Yeah.
was traumatizing. But like I think that you know, what if you like, my mom didn't do that. So like when I was like 6 or 7, I came home one day and I was like, oh my gosh, mom, like all the girls in my class have their ear pierced, I want my ear pierced. And then my mom was just like, okay, like it's gonna hurt and like we can go, but you have to clean them and like all this stuff. And it was like a big deal for me, and I did it and I was proud and I was just like loving it, and I wore earrings all the time. Now I like could care less. For a long time I didn't wear any. Now I have
Yeah.
like these studs I never take out. So it's just kind of like you change as you go. You might as well wait until they mention that they want them, because it's like,
Yeah.
you know, what if you have a little boy that wants them at age 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever age, like would you bat an eye? Because like you probably would do it unconsciously for your daughter.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same. Like, so if you're gonna pierce your daughter's ears as a baby, then pierce your son's ears as a baby, because he might want them down the line and you're gonna save him the ache and pain, in your opinion. So like I'm just saying, you
Yeah.
know, like a lot of guys get their ears pierced eventually too.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of one of those things where to me it makes total sense to wait. Like it's not a big deal. It's not like it's enhancing their life to pierce their ears when they're babies.
Where did that come from? Like, have you ever, like, I'm guessing it's like a traditional thing, like for
Uh
and like cultures and stuff like that.
See, that's something I could get into very
I,
deeply. Um
but I don't know, like in our like country, like where it really like.
I think for us, yeah, I think for like people today, and like the last 50-ish years, maybe go back a little bit more. I don't know, but like I think it's more cosmetic. It's just like it looks nice, it's just pretty. I think that if you were to go like way back, I would say that maybe like if you had a baby thousands of years ago in Egypt, um perhaps there's like reasons behind like piercings, tattoos, markings, like there always is traditionally.
Yeah.
Kind of the same for something we won't get into, like circumcision. That that came up as like it's religious, for religious reasons in certain cultures and religions. And the reason behind it is like being one with God. It's an agreement between God and Abraham, and like once you do it then you're one with God. And so it's kind of like along the same lines, I bet, if you were to go like really look into it. But I think for most people today, it's just cosmetic.
Yeah.
You know, it's convenient. They, you know, your baby's cute. You put little earrings in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't ever notice. So like if you have like
Yeah.
a baby with pierced ears and a baby without pierced ears, I'm kind of just like,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
even know if I've ever noticed. So
Yeah, unless they like point it out. probably don't.
Yeah.
And I just think like I can just see Abby at like 2, like just playing with them all the time. Like I can't
Getting
even
them
wear
dirty.
earrings because she's like constantly touching them.
Hmm. So this one was really close. So for piercings with babies and toddlers, it was 55% don't and 45 were okay with it. So very tight. That's why I'm saying, like, I think again, like I don't notice when babies have it done. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's much like the same reason why it's such a close like tie, because it's no one really notices. And whether you do it like you, I don't think people make a conscious decision like, I know I'm piercing my baby's ears today and this is going to make their life easier. Like it's literally, I think, just like I'm going to do it today.
Do it. Yeah. It's just
Like,
thing even when you're like 16, you're like, we're doing this today. Let's go.
yeah, yeah. Like when I got my belly button pierced, it was
Yeah.
like, let's go. And then
Same when I got here.
or my nose was like
Yeah.
total like let's go, and whatever, like tattoos and young people are the same. It's kind of
Yeah.
just like
On a whim.
like so like for the parent it's
Fun.
kind of, I think it's the same unless they have traditional
Yeah.
reasons behind piercing. So in that sense, if there's cultures that pierce ears for cultural and like traditional reasons, that's what's driving them. But like everyone else that doesn't fall into that category, it's probably just on a whim.
Yeah. Teach his
My
own.
opinion. Next.
Okay, this one's a fun one too. Then I'm gonna skip the other one for now.
Okay.
Is for toddlers.
What?
Leashes.
Oh, leashes. That's what I thought you said. This one was close too. 42% said leashes. 58% said loose. If you have a toddler that is listening, well behaved, they've got their poop in a group, they're able to walk next to you, hold the stroller, listen, you've got them trained up, they're good. You probably don't need a leash. There are children that no matter what you do, they're so like, I understand leashes. I do. I really do. I have no problem with them. When I see them in public, I don't ever look at it and like why does that person have their kid on a leash? That's never ever. If anything, I see those parents with kids on a leash and I'm like, good for you for recognizing the fact that your kid cannot walk safely alone and you have tied them up, and bravo. Like to me, that seeing that is like,
Yeah.
yes, win. But like,
Yeah.
right? Because the
Yeah.
opposite would drive you crazy if you had like a bonkers toddler running loose on the road and
You're like, kids' parents.
you'd
It's
be like, get a leash on them.
yes. Okay, I'm totally on the same line with you. If your kid can do it, but like I know me, I was like honestly like on Amazon like last week looking up leashes for when I go. I'm not kidding, like the backpack one for when we go. There you go. Like if we go to like a zoo or something like that. She listens pretty well, but like somewhere that busy, I don't like it. And like it's for safety for me, just to know like she's within arm's reach.
Absolutely.
How fast like she can like I can turn around and she's gone, right? Like
Right.
safety at that point, like in an area you don't know. I like one extra safe thing that's super easy. If those little backpacks are super cute, like kids
So
like
cute.
so I totally agree with everything you said. Like, amen. If you're wearing that, like if your kid has that on, like good on you for not caring what people think.
Yes. Well, because and it's like safety over anything else here.
Yeah.
So like they have this backpack leash system on. Also because like you can carry your own snacks. Like
Yeah.
that's also like a cool thing about it. Yeah. But also like it's just you don't know how busy it's going to be, and even if they're the best listener ever, it is like
Take
they have a bit of freedom.
Yeah.
They can walk away however long that leash is and whatever it might be. And then you as a parent know they're on the other end of it, versus like not wearing a leash or anything like that. You are now like holding their hand the whole time.
Or
Like you're
fighting for stay in the stroller.
Yeah.
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 So like I'm totally like for a leash. If your kid is an angel and like never needs one because they're just like holding on to your shirt or your stroller all the time, like that's amazing too.
Because mine does not.
But yeah, I think honestly there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, neither do I.
I think that's why it was such a close tie, because it's just kind of like
I don't care.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think a lot of people see the safety facts of it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I totally get it. I've seen some
Definitely.
kids that I'm like, yeah, they need a leash.
I think you forgot your leash.
I'll get you one.
Mhm.
Next topic here. How about kissing your child on the lips?
Aw, okay. That one was 92% cute.
Okay, to me, I didn't even know this was a controversial topic. Now I'm like, what?
I think I know where it came from.
Okay.
I think that the controversy comes from like germs, the same idea as like people who don't let dogs lick their baby, or let babies
Okay.
let dogs lick the baby. Not babies
Yeah.
don't lick dogs.
What?
Well, dogs licking the baby. So like obviously I have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
So my baby is likely going to get licked all the damn time, because that's not something I'm going to be monitoring. My dogs are very gentle. They don't like over lick. It's not like gross, wet, sopping licking.
They're not
but like
all the time. Yeah.
no. And they come up to babies. They give like a quick like, hey.
Yeah.
And then they walk away. It's more about like smelling the baby, getting a quick taste, and then they're good. Like they're not washing them from head to toe, although like that would be very helpful. Like it's natural for dogs too. Like they're 2 female dogs. Yeah, like so I am totally fine with like kissing babies. I feel like I see people, my parents to this day, like if we're going in for hugs, sometimes it's a lip kiss. Like it just happens. Like it's just like, ooh. And it's like not weird. It's just what we grew up with. Like it was always just a thing. If like I had something in my mouth, it would end up in my dad's mouth. If he was eating something and I wanted it, I didn't care. Like it was just that the transferring of germs was never like an issue for us, because you're kind of just like in your cesspool when you're at home.
Yeah. You are.
So like that's just what it is. But yeah, I liked that we were 92% cute, because it's kind of just like, so unless you have a child that maybe has some sort of like immunocompromised,
if the kid is asking you not to,
yes,
you stop. I literally like Abby like grabs my head and like smushes my head and kiss me like so hard.
Loves you.
Exactly. I'm like, when am I tell her no? Like,
yeah, she loves you so much it hurts.
I would die inside. I told her no to that. Like no. But if she ever came up to me when she's like 8 or 10 or whatever, please don't do that, then I'm gonna respect her, right? Like she doesn't want me to do that. So
absolutely. You're breastfeeding your baby, so like
what's the difference?
What's the difference?
Yeah, especially on the lips or on the cheek, it's all the same. I don't know. I honestly didn't even know that was a thing until I read like our thing. So I'm like, what?
I know.
I'm like, no, I'm not wrong in this.
No.
I'm like, I probably did it more since like last week or whatever
when you read it.
Yeah, I'm like, I do it a lot.
This whole weekend you've just been like kissing Abby. You're like, come here before they tell me I can't do this anymore.
Oh yeah. Would I listen? No. Until she literally tells me to stop doing something, I will probably do it. Like even like grabbing her little butt. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Squeeze her little butt. Yeah. She's your kid.
I'm gonna touch it till she tells me to stop. So
she likes painting with her butt, so
she's an artiste.
She's an artiste. She enjoys the booty pictures, if
She
you
does.
will.
I'll have to bring some on here one time.
Oh, I honestly think you just need to start like a book of those, because that's gonna be like a publication.
I gotta stop. Like some of them, honestly, I throw out because there's just a lot, and then I can't tell if they're butt ones or not. But I will like make sure to write like butt on it, and then I'll get like a big box to just put them all in.
That's gonna be the best wedding slideshow.
Oh, just slideshow. I'll just post them all around her wedding, like in like
Abby's butts.
Yeah, through the years.
Through the years.
Yeah,
love that for you.
Thank you.
Well, what's next?
What did we do here? Let me just
check. That one was we did piercings, we did
kiss. Okay, well, we'll go back to some hotter topics.
Okay, scare me. Mm-hmm.
Natural birth versus C-sections.
Ooh, there's a big push I've heard now, well, or more recently, I should say, about like scheduling your birth.
Oh,
there's a bigger push I'm hearing.
What this is talking about, like not like this is like a planned C-section, like you're going in, like you're going in wanting a C-section, kind of what this is talking about, not like an emergency C-section. Well, that too, like there is like a lot of like people that are like, oh, I had a C-section and I wish I could have done it, read it, like I couldn't do it, they don't feel like a woman, like stuff like that, which is, I ended up with a C-section, and obviously like you try to like do it naturally and you just, whatever comes out, like whatever the outcome is, as long as like
I think going into labor naturally, and then circumstances changing, that's completely like out of your hands.
Yeah.
Obviously at that point you just want a healthy baby, healthy mom, everyone's okay. But yeah, you're right. It was natural birth, which encompasses emergency situations, versus scheduled C-sections. So what I've heard lately is that there's a big push to schedule C-sections, especially from doctors, because I don't like the reasons that I've heard. There's like a few, so it's like doctor's schedule. So ensuring that like when you want to deliver, it's that doctor. Also ensuring that there's like a person there to give you the drugs that you need for the C-section, and then not going over term, delivering on a date that you want to deliver on. So if you have a specific date that you would like your baby to be born into the world on, that's another one. And so like I've heard that that's becoming like a thing that people are doing, much like scheduling inductions way ahead of time. I kind of put that in the same box, because to me, like, if 5 months before, if you have like a doctor's visit and you are scheduling a plan, like say, and you're saying, okay, let's schedule an induction for this date. To me, it's kind of along the same lines of like whether you were going to schedule a C-section, because you're not waiting full term or like when it's happening or whatever. Like, but a natural birth, I would consider like an induction. If you were like after term, it got dangerous, it's like you got to do it. That falls into my natural birth box. But if you're like scheduling ahead of time and like making appointments
on so-and-so's birthday,
you're like, oh no, that's my birthday, it can't be that day, or
it's on a weekend, not convenient for me,
so I've heard that that's becoming like trendy, which I don't love, but again, like teach their own.
Like, I don't know, I don't like that, because then like if baby's not ready, I don't know, baby will come when baby's ready. Like I get like the scheduling an induction, like just so you kind of have a plan, but that's like when like after baby's like planned to come out kind of thing, right?
So you're
Half,
like, okay,
not
you know,
or
you're coming up on 40 weeks, you know,
yeah,
do you
let's
want to schedule an induction because like, do we want to wait any longer? How, you know, or whatever. But
yeah.
I'm just gonna let her buck, to be completely honest.
Yeah. It's like I don't know, until she came out, like we did have a planned induction day, but I was like I was overdue at that time when we
Mhm.
planned. And then it did go with my doctor's schedule.
Mhm.
Just so like she still had like, because it could take another week to from when I was going to be induced to like when it would happen. So that would have been like way overdue.
Mhm.
That right. So she planned it that way. So I think it depends on the doctor. I don't know. I just can't hope doctors would plan an induction way before they're due. Like unless it's like an emergency or like twin
No,
stuff like that, like where it's like
I don't
harmful.
think it's like, I don't think they're planning them way before they're due, but
Okay.
I think they're planning them based on when they're due. So like if
Yeah.
I was 4 months pregnant or 5 months pregnant, I went in to see my doctor and then they said to me, okay, you're due on November 1st. Let's induce you on
November.
October 25th.
Yeah. So then
Like
you,
that. Mhm.
I don't like that.
That to me is like you're so far in advance, like you've got 5 6 months or five whatever 6 months to go.
You have no idea what's gonna happen. Yeah.
So I put that in the same box as like the scheduled
Yeah.
c-section kind of thing.
That's a
um
weird thing.
but everything else to me is like a natural birth. So like if you're getting up to full term, it's safer to induce you, or you need a c-section now, or you've gone into labor now, you need a c-section, or your water broke but nothing's happening, so let's induce you.
Yeah.
Like those are natural births.
Yeah.
They're just circumstances.
People that have like had C-sections and then they plan to go in to have a C-section again, because like there are like complications and stuff that can happen if you don't, and like so you do have to think about that if you have
Yes.
had it in the past.
And I've
But
heard that also with healing time in between is
yes.
a factor too. So if
Yeah.
you've had a C-section the first time and then you get pregnant shortly after, it's recommended like that you do have a scheduled C-section. But at that point, you're medically like
you have to.
you have to like you're medically at risk, and there's
Yeah.
no way around that. So
We're talking about fun of a C-section. Not fun.
not fun. So I wouldn't know, but
Not
I
fun.
know you know. So
Not a
and
good
then,
time.
so yeah, like only 5% voted for a scheduled C-section.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a good time.
But again, that's like scheduled C-section on my terms, not because I have to have one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sleep training and co-sleeping.
Oh yeah. Okay, so sleep training, co-sleeping, I have no idea because I have no idea. So like, okay, I'll tell you what I think it means.
Okay.
So sleep training to me means you're teaching them to sleep in their own bed at a certain time. Every day is the same routine training. Co-sleeping means they sleep with you in your bed and there's no strain on like whether they're in their own bed and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So sleep training can be like, it depends on like the method that you're using too. So like that's when it gets into like, we won't talk about that because that's a whole other topic. But like some people like do like those different like cried out methods. So it all depends on what you're using. But and then co-sleeping, you're right. Like they just sleep in your bed. Sometimes like there could be like a bassinet like attached in there to like on the bed, but more so it's you're sharing a bed with them.
Okay, but like
right now.
I have a slight issue here. So like co-sleeping, you say bassinet, but like when they're very, very little, aren't you naturally like either have them on the side of your bed?
Yeah, so like there's just like those, they have co-sleeping like bassinets now, so they like attach right onto your bed.
But that's like for any age?
No, this is for like, are you thinking like toddler, or are you thinking baby?
Well, how are you sleep training like a 1-month-old?
People do.
But how?
Don't ask me that question.
So like I guess my
But people
my
do start right away.
okay, so I have a plan.
Okay.
So like I have a bassinet that I think I'm gonna keep beside my bed that
Yeah.
like at the very beginning I'd like to just have them right there.
Yeah.
But after like a couple months, I think I would transition to like their own crib,
Yeah.
swaddle certain
Yeah.
time, start a routine or whatever. But like, is that am
That
I
would be
doing both?
like sleep training, because co-sleeping would be like, so that was my goal, to do what you did. And I think that's like the most natural one, right? Like a bassinet by you and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, mine.
It's not
ended.
gonna happen, is what you're saying.
Oh no, it don't totally can. Just like I honestly, I struggle with sleep. I still hate it to the day. But anyway,
Mhm.
she would sleep on us, because I think we started the habit in the hospital of her sleeping right on us, and we would sleep. And then we brought it home and she would just fall asleep on us, and then she would just co-sleep with us. But she slept really well, and like it was honestly, I think we did it for about 3 months, 4 months, and then she started to go into her own crib. So it wasn't like
Mhm.
we were doing it for like a year. She does still come into our bed, especially if
Mhm.
she's had a dream, or some nights like if she's has teething or leg pains. But she always, like, now goes to sleep in her own bed. So
Right.
I don't feel like I failed completely, but at the time I totally thought it did.
Yeah, but I mean, when I think of like a tiny baby
Yeah.
at the hospital, they're on you anyway. Like,
Yeah.
because skin on skin is a thing, and then you're like attached, it's new, you're feeding or
Right.
you're trying to, right? Like, and then if you're
Tired.
having a hard time with feeding, they're
Yeah.
probably on you a lot more. I don't know if I like disagree with what you did, because it's just, to me, seems like just that was like the natural progression for her to be able to then be put down into a crib and be fine.
Yeah.
um I don't necessarily think it like messed anything up from like the hospital.
No, I'm just thinking that because like that's what, like, I don't want to say started the habit. Like we just started doing that in the
Yeah.
hospital. Like she wasn't sleeping in her little bassinet thing there. She was sleeping on us, and we did, like, yeah, like it's a new baby. This is my
Yeah, like I can't get enough. I'd be like, "Mm."
yeah, you totally do. And then they're just so cute. And anyways, but
I'm not putting them down.
no, you don't want to. But I think like you do get like, and I even got like a lot of like I don't want to say backlash, but like people are like, you have to stop that now. She's never going to get out of your bed. Like I got a lot of it. And you don't learn a lot about co-sleeping, like unless you're like brought up that way. So
Mhm.
like you get a lot of that talk, and it's just like, so like as a new mom, you're like, I'm doing everything wrong, like I'm not doing it right.
Mm,
Like you need to get that baby into a bed, or they're always going to be sleeping with you. They're going to be the worst
right.
sleep. And then say now, like even in my head, I'm like, oh, she's a terrible sleeper. But is she really? Like some nights she comes into our bed. Some nights it's like for a week in a row she comes into our bed, but she always falls
Mhm.
in her own bed, right? So, and it's usually like she's got growing pains or like getting a new molar. So I'm like,
Mm.
that really the end of the world if she comes into my bed? Probably
No,
not.
and I also think like your training, like sleep is, there's this argument, right? Like sleep is natural and like it happens naturally, and you can rely on like nature to take over for sleeping and when babies should sleep. But at the same time, depending on your household, that's not possible because you're not all going to bed at 5 p.m. for 12 hours. So
No.
like, so if you want your baby to be sleeping and get used to like other noise, then you start the training. Like, I think you have to teach sleep, you have to teach some sort of routine. I think that it's flexible. I think that there's like extremes. Like, some people look at that and they're just like, nah, like, yeah, like, I don't think there's a right way or wrong way, because I feel like sleep, like, yes, so it's natural and like you learn to sleep, and I guess. I think as like a being and like a
Yeah.
thing that's alive, you like will eventually just sleep when you're tired. But like that's not how life works. So like you have to almost train because it's like, okay, you're getting up for work. You work 9 to 5, so your baby needs to be up and ready at a certain time and like well rested and whatever. But I just don't think, yeah, like there's no right way or wrong way, I don't think. But
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's just honestly all a learning process for like every parent, and every kid's so different that what works for, honestly, this is for everything. And we've talked about for one doesn't work for the other, even in like your own family. So
no.
got to be able to just kind of be flexible and work with anything you got. So what comes,
Yeah.
I guess.
Anything that's come. So earlier I kind of mentioned like I would be a little bit of a hypocrite, but then I realized like the topics that we had didn't really bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because I need to share this. So like when we were talking about like the baby led weaning and like eating and giving them like food, I for some reason in my mind thought that like healthy food or like anything they want was going to come up. I don't know why. I thought maybe we looked, but maybe we'll for part 2 we'll ask that of parents, like how far do you go to like, is it just, you know, my kids are only interested in noodles, so I give them noodles and cheese, or like they'll, I don't care, they're gonna get asparagus, broccoli, I don't know, carrot, like whatever.
Whatever I eat for dinner is what is dinner.
Okay, so the on the line of like what I eat for dinner is dinner. I have this sitting in front of me. And I had a really hard time when I bought this, but like you're gonna love that I have this. And this I purchased because like just super curious, and my love for macaroni and cheese is huge. But like I bought this.
Just bought the same thing.
And I
was so curious.
It's sitting here because we're packing for our trip, and this is like the late night.
Yeah.
You know, so like, although I'm not going to partake in what makes me want to eat this, I'm still going to eat it though. But like, this just made me think of like baby led weaning, because it was like, if I made this for myself, would I give my baby like a handful of Cheetos, macaroni and cheese? Like,
I'd probably let them try it. I'm not going to lie.
They're going to grow horns. I don't know. So anyway, I just kind of thought, because I'm like, yeah, like natural is like the way to go, but like
I gotta try the Cheetos mac.
I gotta eat that.
I got the jalapeno one.
Like, so, yeah, and then like right next to that, I've got like this. So it's like I don't know. Am I?
No, I think there's a limit, but we'll talk about this another time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll have to do part 2. There's still tons of topics that we haven't covered, and then
and if you have others,
let us know. But we'll post some more questions, because I'm curious too. Like, have you ever then, if you have done baby led weaning or like just solids when they're like little, is there something that maybe you're not so proud of like feeding them, or that you were like, last resort, I have nothing else and like I just need to feed my baby? Like, I kind of want to know those things too. I think that'd be kind of funny. So
if it makes anyone feel better, I handed my toddler a bucket of candy today and said, "Here you go."
It was like, go.
Honestly, she did so good. She only ate a couple, so I was like, perfect.
But she's not a huge candy fiend, is she?
You know what? She likes it, but we also, I don't know if this is why, but we do like give it to her often, so it's not like she's like
deprived
of it. So it's not like she gets it, so it's not like a huge like reward or something like that. When she I don't know.
I think that's maybe what happened to me as a kid, because my older brother is like obsessed with eating sweets. He like hides it. He like needs it all the time. Yeah. Where like I can have like a chocolate bar sitting for weeks like in front of me, and I'll eat a piece, and then it like doesn't like tempt me or anything. So
that one lady, Kids Eat in Color, that I talked about, she talks about that. So that would be a good one.
Yes. Okay. Write that down. But anyway, on that note, We will catch everyone on the next episode. And be sure, if you have any topics or questions or something that you might want to chat with us about, or want us to bring up and kind of get listeners' opinions on things or input, you can message us on our Instagram at Edson Parent Cafe. You can email us at edsonparentcafe@gmail.com. And you can also text 780-517-7055. If you want to leave us like a really great, funny story, don't worry about leaving your name. It can be completely anonymous. We will not call you and check who you are. But yeah, we'll just see you guys in the next one.
Check you on the flip side. Bye.